Lookup News. Nancy Nelima here, and ready to bring you stories that are making headlines at this hour. And of course, the day started off with the two houses, which is the National Assembly and the Senate. The Senate giving its leadership, but the National Assembly still left with a standoff on which party makes the majority and which one takes the minority. We have that and so much more lined up for you in tonight's bulletin. Well, broadcast across our social media platforms, that is on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our YouTube channel, where we are at Lookuptv. And the broadcast begins now. Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetang, expected to resolve the majority leadership matter in the National Assembly. This is after the MPs allied to both Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio One Kenya failed to determine which coalition has the majority number of MPs in the House.
We have an issue in the House on the leadership and the contested communications before the...
And I'll be tabling between Kenya Kwanza, the parties UDA, the founding parties UDA, ANC, Ford Kenya, Honorable Speaker, and further agreements with the Umoja na Maendeleo Party.
Yes. Party for Growth and Prosperity. Yes. Those are 26 political parties that had signed a coalition agreement under the umbrella of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party.
I dare you, table the Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party agreements that are signed by any of these political parties. And I dare you to table that.
And that is a matter that is yet to be resolved at the National Assembly. But of course, Lookuptv will be keeping tabs with what's happening and will bring you up to speed with how it unveils. Moving on, President William Ruto has called on elected members of all the political divides to put politics behind them and embark on serving the electorate. The head of state has additionally appealed to all arms of the government, from the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, to work in harmony to gear the country towards economic revolution. Our reporter Henry Tende with more.
At the home of his Deputy Rigathi Gachagua in Nyeri County, during the final sending off of Jackson Reriani, the elder brother to Gachagua, the head of state Dr. William Ruto has sought to remind elected leaders from all the political divide that the time has come for them to work in accordance to promises they made.
Maneno ya uchaguzi tumemaliza, mashindano tumekamilisha. Sasa ni nafasi ya sisi wote kuungana ili tuweze wale wanaoendesha serikali waendeshe kwa manufaa ya Wakenya, wale walio katika upinzani wapange kwa manufaa ya wananchi wa Kenya, kule mahakamani tupange kwa manufaa ya wananchi wa Kenya, kwa sababu we are all serving the great people of the Republic of Kenya.
The Commander-in-Chief, while reiterating his commitment to bettering the lives of Kenyans, has called on the three arms of parliament to work harmoniously to propel the country to greater heights of development.
As the executive, I want to commit, we will do our bit. I want to ask the legislature to do their bit and our judiciary to do their bit so that we can transform our country together and serve the interests of the 50 million Kenyans, and especially those who voted for us.
With ballooning national debt threatening to throw the country into economic turmoil, the head of state notes with concern that the country must make hard decisions to put things back on track.
Kuna kazi, kuna kibarua tuko naye hapa mbele. Lakini mimi nataka niwahakikishie hiyo kibarua tunatoshana naye. Hiyo kibarua tunatoshana naye. Tutafanya hiyo kazi ili tuhakikishe ya kwamba pale mwisho watoto wetu hawataridhi deni kutoka kwetu.
And for you to succeed, those of us you have given a responsibility to help you, we must work equally hard. So I want to confirm before my family that I will not let you down. I will do whatever it takes and will be there for you to give you the necessary support, so that you are in a position to turn around the economy of this country and restore the dignity of our people.
The prevailing national drought and the biting pangs of hunger has caught the attention of the president, who has committed to support the farmers even more to boost food production.
Tumeanza mpango ya mbolea ya msimu ambao unafuata, and we are going to make sure that we support our farmers so that they can produce enough food for our country and we can eliminate the shame of hunger in the Republic of Kenya.
The late Reriani has been eulogized as a great businessman and a man of the people who had immense love for his family. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Indeed, may he rest in peace. Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary nominee Alfred Mutua has said there is no cause for alarm over the critic Kenyan invasion messages by Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni's son, Muhoozi Kairenubaga. His sentiments come after a meeting he held with Uganda's ambassador to Kenya, Hassan Galiwango. The meeting came a few hours after several leaders mounted pressure on President William Ruto to intervene and find a solution over the matter.
Issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Uganda, and I quote, "To this end, the government of the Republic of Uganda wishes to reiterate its commitment to good neighborliness, peace, and coexistence and cooperation." End of quote. The letter coming into the calm tension between Kenya and Uganda, occasioned by a series of disturbing tweets by General Muhoozi. Muhoozi was on Tuesday elevated from a lieutenant general to a major general a day after he tweeted on his handle that it would take him only 2 weeks to take over Nairobi County, a statement that sparked mixed reactions among Kenyans on Twitter. Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary nominee Alfred Mutua has assured Kenyans there is no cause to worry about the side trick, a Kenyan invasion message by Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni's son after meeting he held with Uganda Ambassador to Kenya Hassan Galiwango. Kariuki Nduati, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Ndwati. And now, despite President William Ruto's promise to invest in production and improve the cost of living, Kenyans are still decrying the prevailing tough economic times. In our daily segment of Your Opinion Matters, we ask Kenyans what their thoughts are on the cost of living.
In today's Opinion Matters, we ask Kenyans on their thoughts on the rise of prices of commodities, and this is what they had to say.
Sasa serikali ya sasa ni ngumu sana, inatugandamiza. Ilisema inapunguza bei ya bidhaa ya mwananchi wa kawaida, lakini hakuna kitu yenye imefanywa. Sasa hatujui tunaendelea wapi. Rais mimi namwambia ajaribu kukumbuka hustler nation, juu yeye mwenyewe alisema bottom up.
Ingawa kweli tunatarajia uchumi iwe sawa, but mpaka lini? Na kila siku maisha tunaumia, kila siku unakuta hii bidhaa bei ndio hii imepanda. Mapato yetu ama mapato ya wananchi bado iko chini. Customer wetu hata hawafiki bei. Anako sawa ni 50, na hata kupata huyo mteja wa 50 ni shida. Then hiyo pesa ukishaipata baadaye ujira wako haukimu mahitaji, kama ni school fees ndio hiyo bado iko juu. Walituambia sijui elimu ni ya bure, sijui ni bure gani tunalipanga kutoka primary, secondary. Tena hii uchumi kwani inakuaga mzuri kwa wakina nani kama sio kwetu sisi? Ni Wakenya wagani ambao wanafurahia wati uchumi kuwa sawa, ambapo mimi najihesabu nikiwa Mkenya nafaa kuwa nafurahia ama najivunia kuwa Mkenya, lakini sasa ni kuvumilia tu.
Kitu yenye gava ingefanya tu kitu poa, inge balance food na transport. Yaani hii ni wewe ukienda kununua unga unanunua pesa kidogo. Ukikam kulipa mafuta unaenda hivyo. Juu kama unaona kama leo hakuna magari mingi. Hizi gari zimelala. Juu gava imesema timeongeza imepunguza mafuta na bado wanashikashika hao madere, unaona? Haisaidii kitu.
Sasa maoni yangu ni wa fulfill the promises, and that's why we elect. So tunagojea fulfill the promises. Kama sasa hizi mimi ni driver, tunasafa sana kwa mafuta, bei ya mafuta, na ile pesa yenye tunapata ni kidogo sana. Tuko na familia, hata pesa yenye tunapata kidogo hata iwezi kusaidia hiyo familia zetu. So wajaribu venye to direct or fulfill the promises, na tutafurahia sana.
Those are some of the opinions from Kenyans in today's segment of Opinion Matters. Grace Mureithi, Lookuptv.
And back to Nyeri County, President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have eulogized Jackson Riviani Gachagua as a dedicated man who fought for the interest of his family and contributed to the growth of the country's economy. Ian Kitani had the following story.
Attending Jackson Riviani's final send-off, President William Ruto termed the deceased as a statesman who went out of his way to ensure that his siblings were well educated and broadly participated in the building of the country's economy.
Alifanya mchango wake kama Mkenya. Tumesikia mahali alifanya kazi. Tumesikia hata mara ya mwisho alikuwa anafanya kazi hapa ya kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ya irrigation katika mambo yetu ya kilimo. Kwa hivyo huyu ni Mkenya ambaye ametoa mchango wake katika familia na katika taifa lake. Ndio tumekuja hapa kwa kumuenzi na kumshukuru Mungu kwa kutupatia huyu ndugu yetu ambaye leo amesafiri. Poleni sana Mama Cecilia, pole my young man Stephen and your family. Poleni sana ndugu zetu wa Riviani Gachagua.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua eulogized his brother as a man of his word, lauding him for ensuring he completed his studies, assuring Riviani's family of his full support. Gachagua narrated the hard times the family has undergone in the last few years, urging Kenyans to value the unity of their families and the importance of education.
So my parents, we were 9 of us, and they tried so hard. They educated Jack Riviani and Governor Derito Gachagua and told them to educate the rest of us. Myself, my sister Lillian, who is in London, my sister Mudhoni, who is here, we were handed over to Jack by my parents. This man paid my school fees from Form 1 to Form 6. And I'm so grateful to God because God gave me an opportunity to tell him, thank you for educating me. When they came for our inauguration, Your Excellency, they stayed with me in Nairobi for 3 days, and I had an opportunity to thank him profoundly for having seen me through school on behalf of my parents who are lacking. I want to ask all of us, where we can, those who are able, take care of your siblings. See them through school, assist them in life. So as we escort my late brother, I have a debt of gratitude to him. And as a way of giving back, I'll make sure that his wife, who has been left behind, his children, Stephen and your kids, whatever God can help me to see you through, I will do it as a way of appreciation to my late brother who saw me through education.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
That story by Ian Keitani takes us to a very fast break here on Lookup News. There's so much more on the other side, including some sporting action.
Get a chance to wake up as a tourist as you view Mount Kenya every day by buying a plot of land at Wema Gardens, Naru Moru. At only 400 meters off tarmac, this is the right place to build your dream home, cottages or holiday homes. You can also buy this property to give to your children as a special inheritance. Water and electricity are in the vicinity, while neighbors are already building their homes. These plots are specially ready for you with title deeds scheduled to be out in 6 months. Buy a 50 by 100 plot of land at Wema Gardens for only 399,000 Kenya shillings. You can also pay for your plot through our friendly 1-year installments plan. Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Welcome back. This is Lookuptv News. Nancy Nelima here and Josephine Ouko on the sign language interpretation. Keep engaging with us across all social media platforms at Lookuptv on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our YouTube channel. Moving on, after President William Ruto's directive to lift the ban on genetically modified crops that was imposed in 2012, mixed reactions have been elicited concerning the issue, causing public debate with questions being raised on the safety of genetically modified engineered products. Here's Brenna Moy with the analysis.
It is a decision that has sparked a myriad of reactions from public after the cabinet approved the importation and use of genetically modified products, GMO. Genetically modified organisms can be defined as organisms in which the genetic material DNA has been altered in a way that does not occur naturally by mating or natural recombination. The technology is often called modern biotechnology or gene technology, sometimes also recombinant DNA technology or genetic engineering. It allows selected individual genes to be transferred from one organism to another and also between non-related species. Foods produced or using GM organisms are often referred as GM foods. As the country continues to raise concerns about GMO, CEO of National Biosafety Authority, Dr. Roy Mugira, has assured the country that it is safe for consumption.
That which we have put a seal of approval as NBA and said that this is safe to go to the environment, to go to cultivation and to land onto your table, it is indeed safe. If I use Kiswahili, I would say it is hakika.
Mugira says GMO crops are drought resistant and also use less pesticides, which is good for not only consumption but also the environment.
The large majority that we'll be looking at from this side, or from Kenya, for example, is drought resistance, pest and disease resistance. A potato is coming up that is resistant to blight, so it's in the trials. Cassava has already gone through a number of phases of approval. Actually, it is just waiting for what is called national performance trials, which is resistant to viruses. So largely it is in disease resistance and drought resistance. That doesn't limit us. One research going on at Kenyatta University is looking at enhancing the nutritional value of sorghum. You know, sorghum, a lot of time we consider it as a peripheral crop. If it can be enhanced to provide basic and very important micro and macronutrients, then it becomes useful. So enhancement of nutrition, pest and disease resistance, and drought resistance. Those are the key ones that I can think of from where I see it as the top of what we will be considering going forward.
The lifting of the ban on GMOs by the Kenya government has brought mixed reactions in the country, with members of the Kenya Peasants League and Kangemi grassroots human rights movement condemning the move, saying it's meant to benefit a few greedy companies in Kenya, but also have long-term negative effects in the country.
And this line has been bought by governments in the global south, including the Kenyan government, in pushing for cultivation of GMO crops. We as the movement contend that yes, genetic engineering takes place in the field, but it is different from what takes place in the labs, where you find that foreign genes are introduced into the organisms, therefore altering the genetic makeup of those organisms.
Tunataka serikali hii maneno ya GMO tunataka itoke kabisa. Juu tunajua the impact of GMO si kwa wakulima peke yake, pia wenye wanakula hizi chakula. Tunajua vizuri sana the impact of GMO. So serikali nataka kutuonyesha, wanajaribu kutuambia kwamba wanataka kutuua. Juu tumejua tukikula hizi chakula ni sumu tunakula kwa mwili.
Dr. Mugira, however, says there is no much difference between the GMO and normal crops, and that no evidence has been provided to prove that GMO is harmful.
The cotton that is genetically modified is cotton. The only difference is just a small fragment of the gene that makes that protein, which helps it to resist the bollworm.
Lifting of the ban on genetically modified products is one way the government wants to ensure food security in the country, as drought continues to affect millions of Kenyans in 23 counties. Brian Amuai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Brian Amoy, remember that is an ongoing conversation. You can continue engaging with us across our social media platforms, and I'll be sampling some of your feedback at the tail end of this bulletin. Moving on, after the National Environmental Authority, NEMA, together with the Nairobi Liquor License Board, announced the closure and revoking of licenses of 43 clubs and entertainment joints in Nairobi for noise pollution. Our spot check earlier Tuesday indicates that some of these clubs are yet to be closed. John Mukora with more.
In our spot check in different areas of Nairobi, it's clear that these clubs and entertainment joints are yet to close as they are preparing to receive revelers in the night hours. The managers of these clubs are saying they have not closed since they have not been served with an official letter from the Nairobi Liquor and License Board to revoke their licenses, saying they also found out about the closure through social media platforms. The announcement by the Nairobi Liquor and License Board resulted from complaints from residents and the public about excessive noise and playing of loud music by the clubs in residential areas through NEMA. The club owners are afraid of the impact the closure will have on their businesses if the announcement to revoke their licenses will be implemented. Thousands of workers, including waiters and cooks, that their jobs are at risk. For now, they are hopeful that an alternative strategy will be used to find a permanent solution. John Mukora, Lookuptv.
Now, learning was disrupted in Githitia Secondary School in Kiambu County after fire razed down one of the dormitories. The Monday night inferno destroyed property worth millions, consisting of uniforms and personal effects. Parents have now demanded prompt investigations into the matter, stating that it is not the first time a fire has broken out in the school. John Omari brings us this story and more in our county roundup.
Students of Githitia Secondary School in Lari, Kiambu County are counting losses after a fire razed down one of the dorms, leaving their uniforms and personal effects reduced to ashes. The students who are still in school have been left without uniforms as their parents demand to take them home, claiming the principal and board of directors are leaving them in the dark regarding their children's welfare. Question marks have been raised about the matter, as this is not the first time a fire outbreak has been reported in the school. The cause of the fire is yet to be known, with investigations having commenced under the Lari Department of Security.
Geomba uchunguzi uweze kuangaliwa vizuri kwa wale watu ambao ni concerned, na sana sana hata bodi ya hii shule inatakiwa wachukue hatua kali ama haraka sana ili tuweze kujua ni nini kinaendelea.
In other news, authorities in Turkana County have raised an alarm over the increase in defilement cases recorded at Kakuma, which they claim stems from the harmful cultural vulnerability of the refugees in the area. Speaking in Kakuma during the Children Court Users Committee function, Kakuma Law Court Principal Magistrate Mr. Charles Mayamba said that they have formed the committee to ensure children's rights are protected at all times so that they are not forced into child marriages.
Again, I want to tell my people that the issue of old men negotiating about wealth for their young children should stop. That culture should now stop. Let these children go to school above the age of 18, then you go back and ask for your wealth.
Elsewhere, a section of leaders drawn from Kakamega County, led by Mumias MP Mr. Peter Kalelwa Salasia and his Matungu counterpart Peter Oscar Nabulindo, have vowed to fight the court's decision to withdraw CDF funds, stating that it's an important pillar in the education sector and a large number of students who are unable to pay their school fees depend on it. Speaking at different events, they urge the Ministry of Education to ensure it allocates enough funds to cover the CBC curriculum instead of burdening parents. The members of parliament also urged President William Ruto to expand his Uwezo Kiti fund instead of creating a new one.
We want just to begin by telling the COG, the Council of Governors, that they should also stop politicizing, and also the Senate, politicizing the issue of the CDF. CDF is of great help. It has really helped many people. Right now, children are being, I've received many. I've used even what's more like I wanted to construct a house for other widows. Everything has gone.
This comes after the president vowed to create the Hustlers Fund, expected to be operational within his first 100 days in office. John Omari, Lookuptv.
And PA to the member of parliament. Alango, James, Mata, Wana.
Rooney's. Flying through the streets of Central Park in the middle of the ball. He's gone!
Time now for us to get sporty. World marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge and London marathon champion Amos Kipruto were among the athletes flown this morning by the national carrier Kenya Airways. And Kipruto alongside Joycelyn Jepkosgei, who finished second in the women's race at London Marathon, were hosted by Kenya Airways